All right, you're good to go.
What's going on, everyone? It's been a while, but after some technical difficulties, we're back. Thanks for listening into this edition of Cream City Cast, creamcitycentral.com's
And try it
podcast.
again. It kind of like tweaked out the service or the
Oh, it did?
signal. Yeah,
Should I just start on my go?
just start at the beginning.
All right, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? How's it going? It's been a while since Andrew, myself. Oh, fuck it, man. I haven't done this in so long. I'm so rusty.
No, that's good.
All right.
Yeah.
Now for real.
All right,
I'll
go.
start. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to another edition of Cream City's Cast. We are Cream City Central Bucks podcast. Oh, my God. Jesus
Got it.
Christ.
You want me to get it?
Yeah, just go ahead, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm just
No.
totally fucking being a boner right now. Fuck.
No, you're good. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to yet another edition of the Cream City Cast. We're back. Took a little break, had some employment stuff, but we're back in time for the playoffs. Here to give you a recap of Game 1's loss against the Celtics in Boston. I'm here with the lead Bucks writer for Cream City Central, Andrew Goodman. What's up, my man? It's been a while.
Always good to be back on here with you, Dylan. Got a ton to talk about after Milwaukee's crushing loss in overtime, 107-113 to Boston. Oh, oy vey. I don't even know where to begin on this one, Dylan. A lot of things that I would have done differently. But for me, the most important aspect of this game was definitely the turnovers. 20 turnovers the Bucks had. You're not going to win any playoff game if you turn the ball over that much.
It's actually pretty remarkable that they were that close with 20 turnovers. And I think the 20 turnovers is kind of you can see the separation. That was the separation in the game. We don't have that many turnovers. We probably win by like 4 or 5, maybe 6 points. So, I mean, it was frustrating. Bledsoe was kind of frustrating me yesterday. It all started with those shoes, dude. Once the shoes started loose in the game, I knew it was going to be a bad one for him.
Yeah, I didn't even notice his shoe issue until someone pointed it out on Twitter. But, it makes sense if it contributed to a few of his struggles. But, yeah, it was like he didn't even get off the bus pregame. Although he was the only Buck at +7, he was pretty much a ghost out there. And like you said about the turnovers, the Bucks in the regular season, they actually were one of the better teams at taking care of the ball. So it was very uncharacteristic for them to even put up 20 turnovers. All those unforced errors definitely came back to haunt them. And we can't go without mentioning Chris Middleton's huge step-up performance yesterday.
Probably one of the biggest shots I've seen in my life. I mean, like, there's national championship shots that you see, like Mario Chalmers and cool stuff like that. But, like, for the NBA with 0.5 seconds, like, that's pretty remarkable.
Oh, absolutely. And, after he made that shot, it was like, wow, the Bucks have all this momentum going into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Things are looking up. But then, of course, don't trust the Bucks.
Yeah, they came out really flat, and it was just a real big struggle all night with the switching in the post. It seemingly either had Giannis on Al Horford kind of getting worked. And I think Giannis is strong enough. He just has to take it with his chest. I mean, he's getting just a little too handsy down there. I understand it's the playoffs. They're going to loosen the whistle just a touch. But, I mean, he really needs to focus on just trying to get better position. And when it comes to when they switch and Brogdon or Bledsoe or, Terry switch on to one of the bigs in the post, they need to communicate that switch a little bit better because too many times they're catching it real deep in the post and it's basically over from there. And I mean, I think yesterday what told you that we're better than Boston, I believe, but we're not going to win. You know what I mean? Like, how that's talent, that's saying it's like hard work beats talent or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know.
especially when you have Brad Stevens on your side as coach. Man, that goes a long way for sure. The Bucks are definitely the most talented team in this series, but, it all comes down to coaching, and there were some glaring differences, of course, yesterday. But I thought John Henson played really well. And I guess, it's playoff Henson. I guess that's a thing now. Six
Yeah.
blocks. That's great.
Oh, for sure. He was all over the board. I mean, actually being a presence inside, and I think it actually attributed to kind of more of an outside approach at the end of the game for Boston. I mean, they were hitting their shots. I mean, what can you say? Terry Rozier was absolutely on fire, and I feel like we have a kind of a rival in the series with Marcus Morris, and I think that's kind of an interesting kind of little twist on the series. I know John Henson always seems to have an attitude with something, so I mean, it'll be something to keep him occupied with during the game.
John
But
Henson, the enforcer, I guess.
yeah, I mean,
Why not?
some yeah, I mean, he's kind of an enforcer, but that's
But
all right.
like you said, Boston, oh man, it seemed like everything went their way yesterday, whether it was the Bucks would get a lucky deflection, have a chance at a turnover and a run out, Boston would somehow wind up with the ball and get an open shot, or just shot clock winding down. Marcus Morris was hitting these fadeaway 3-point perimeter jumpers. It's like
That was
Bucks
a
couldn't really
killer.
catch a break last night.
That was an absolute killer right there. When they had that possession one and Morris turns around and pulls up this, oh my God, I could not believe that went in. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of that. And when you were saying about coaching with Brad Stevens, it was interesting because on that last play, they had all 5 players around the 3-point line. So it's not like they were going to get a close shot if they were going to shoot a 3. I mean, I know Giannis even almost passed it inside. I mean, it wouldn't have done anything. They would have lost. But you know what I mean? That was a deep, deep 3. And it was well coached by Stevens, but just lucky
better
shot.
to be lucky than good, I guess, in this time.
Yeah.
But
yeah, right.
also can't go without talking about how bad Jabari Parker was yesterday. 1 of 5 from the floor in 15 minutes, minus 14 and only 2 points. Oh, God, he was just barf.
Yeah,
That's all I can really say.
I don't even think the stats truly tell you how how upsetting watching him play yesterday was. It's your first playoff game, and it didn't look like he wanted to be there. And I understand there's a lot of stuff going on with the contract extension and stuff, but man, like even as like a business person, like your agent better be telling you to like start like not fighting with your teammates. Someone's going to want to sign you if you're like that. And you're playing terrible. So what does that do for your value either way? I mean, it might help the Bucks if they want to re-sign him with a cheaper deal. That's cool with me. But it's really just hurting him. And it's upsetting because it's the end of the 4th quarter and we have Jabari Parker on the bench, the number 2 pick in the draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, wow, like it kind of hit me yesterday. Like, wow, this is pretty disappointing. Like he should be able to be on the floor. I know he tore his ACL twice, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. To me, the most eye-opening thing about Jabari from yesterday's game was his body language. Just looked like his body language was portraying someone that knows he's not long for the road with this team. And, it really looked like he didn't belong there. I don't know. Many of us saw the Bucks players on the bench, getting up for every bucket, cheering their teammates on. And then you see Jabari there with his, arms folded and a towel over his head, stone faced.
Yeah.
So, there's no doubt that Jabari Parker has potential. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He definitely has a ton to fix if he wants to become the player that the Bucks drafted him. But, 2 ACL tears, I just can't see this being a case where Jabari comes up being the guy who the Bucks drafted at number 2 when he came out of Duke. So,
but I don't even want him to be that. You know what I mean? Like I'd take like a starter that can just the guy who can go and score and get you buckets. I mean, there's always a spot for that on the team, but it's like the other parts that he brings. Like if he's not on, he's really off, and it throws everything off. Honestly.
Yeah, because his defense is going to be off most of the time, but so when he's not scoring, it's like he's useless.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I know a lot of people also are kind of getting on Tony Snell. I think he did some things defensively that kind of help his playing time, kind of discussion. Offensively, hasn't been what he was in the beginning of the year, and I mean, people are saying to start Jabari over Tony Snell, but it's like I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a good idea. And then I wonder, what are they doing with their bench minutes? Because you try to move like Brogdon or something to the starting lineup for Snell. What does that do for your bench? Do you have anyone that can score then? Not really.
Right, and that's the point. I tweeted out yesterday, emotions got the best of me when the Celtics were going on a run. I tweeted that I'd trade Tony Snell for some Tide laundry pods. So just wanted to say, I thought Tony Snell, like you said, played a pretty good defensive game yesterday. And like you were saying about having a player come off the bench and score, I'd personally rather have someone who won't score as much but will defend. And I think that's the case with Tony Snell, is you have to have him in the starting lineup because his defense is pretty good.
Yeah, and he's a perfect matchup for Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, he's long.
And, even when he switches out on, Rozier, Larkin, or whoever it is, he can still work with that, which is good, and that's important. But it was a good game. I think my biggest takeaway from the game was that they were rather resilient. I've seen the Bucks fold up quite a few times this year when it gets tough, but they came back from a really bad first quarter, had a really good second quarter, really good defensive second quarter, and they fought with them and they climbed all the way back to tie, and they didn't have enough at the end. That call of Giannis at the end, I think that could have really went either way. It did look like a foul, and like we said about him on the defensive side in the post, he gets kind of handsy. So I feel like fouls could be a problem.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes Giannis is just so prone to those silly reach-in fouls where he just doesn't have to do much. And that's another frustrating aspect of his game, I guess, but we're just nitpicking at this point.
And about a charge a game. You could guarantee pretty much
absolutely.
A charge a game.
At least.
That would be a pretty good prop bet, I think. Giannis's charges per game.
Do they got to have something like that.
Probably. It would at least be, I think, one.
Also, before we wrap up, wanted to give a shout out to Malcolm Brogdon. He's only had 3 games under his belt, including game 1 since returning from a partially torn quad in 32 minutes, 6 of 13 from the floor, 16 points, 4 rebounds and 3 assists. He looked great for a man who's only been back 3 games.
Hit a huge 3 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was a big ball shot for sure.
And it was when nothing was going good too. It was we really needed that 3.
Yeah, I've said this before. Malcolm Brogdon is arguably Milwaukee's second most consistent player besides Giannis.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair. I definitely agree with that. Well, I think it'll be an interesting game 2 coming up. We're going to have a preview podcast coming out tomorrow, so should be a good game. If you want to hear predictions, though, you gotta listen. You gotta wait till tomorrow, of course.
Anticipation.
Yeah, of course. I think if I have 2 things that I need the Bucks to do tomorrow: box out. I think offensive rebounds in very, very bad situations, time-wise, was a problem. And I think they just need to just play an even game the whole way. Nothing too high, nothing too low. Let's keep doing consistency. Don't have stupid 1 possessions where Bledsoe runs in the corner and jacks up a 3. That's not good. Let's get the ball moving and let's see what happens, because we can play with them. That's what the one thing you can learn from game 1. So you have a couple things.
Yeah, there's no question that we could compete for them. And for me, for game 2, key element for me has got to be the Bledsoe. If the Bledsoe shows up, Bucks have a pretty good chance of winning, assuming that Giannis and Middleton, average what their season averages are. And second one is you got to steal home court. If you don't win game 2, it's not looking too good.
Nope, puts the pressure back on us. So, well, we will check in with you on our playoff preview podcast coming up tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Shout out to Shepherd Express for being our sponsor. Always check them out at shepherdexpress.com. I'm Dylan Piccolo at Dylan Piccolo 35 on Twitter. Andrew is at Andrew_Goodman3. Check us out at creamcitycentral.com. Andrew had a nice piece on if you want to see a print version of kind of our review. Andrew's got that for you on Cream City Central. Andrew, anything you want to say?
I hope when we're recording, we have some better news for Bucks fans. That's for sure.
That is definitely true. So, thank you again. Game 2, 7 p.m. Central Time in Boston on TNT and Fox Sports Wisconsin. So, all right. Thank you very much. Go Bucks.